Chapter 17, The First Cure. After the Heyoka ceremony, I came to live here, where I am now between Wounded Knee Creek and Grass Creek. Others came too, and we made these little gray houses of logs that you see. They are square. It's a bad way to live, for there can be no power in a square. You have noticed that everything an Indian does is in a circle, and that is because the power of the world always works in circles, and everything tries to be round. In the old days, when we were a strong and happy people, all our power came to us from the sacred hoop of the nation, and so long as the hoop was unbroken, the people flourished. The flowering tree was the living center of the hoop, and the circle of the four quarters nourished it. The east gave peace and light, and the south gave warmth. The west gave rain, and the north, with its cold and mighty wind, gave strength and endurance. This knowledge came to us from the outer world with our religion. Everything the power of the world does is in a circle. The sky is round, and I have heard that the earth is round like a ball, and so are all the stars. The wind, in its greatest power, whirls. Birds make their nests in circles, for theirs is the same religion as ours. The sun comes forth and goes down again in a circle. The moon does the same, and both are round. Even the seasons form a great circle in their changing, and always come back again to where they were. The life of a man is a circle, from childhood to childhood, and so it is in everything where power moves. Our teepees were round like nests of birds, and these were always set in a circle, the nation's hoop, a nest of many nests, where the Great Spirit meant for us to hatch our children. But the Wazichus have put us in these square boxes. Our power is gone, and we are dying, for the power is not in us anymore. You can look at our boys and see how it is with us. When we were living by the power of the circle in the way we should, boys were men at 12 or 13 years of age. But now it takes them very much longer to mature. Well, it is as it is. We are prisoners of war while we are waiting here. But there is another world. It was in the moon of the shedding ponies, May, when we had the Heyoka ceremony. One day, in the moon of fatness, June, when everything was blooming, I invited one side to come over and eat with me. I had been thinking about the four-rayed herb that I had seen twice. The first time in the great vision when I was 9 years old, and the second time when I was lamenting on the hill. I knew that I must have this herb for curing, and I thought I could recognize the place where I had seen it growing the night that I lamented. After one side and I had eaten, I told him there was a herb I must find, and I wanted him to help me hunt for it. Of course, I did not tell him I had seen it in the vision. He was willing to help, so we got on our horses and rode over to Grass Creek. Nobody was living there. We came to the top of a high hill above the creek. There we got off our horses and sat down. I felt that we were close to where I saw the herb growing in my vision of the dog. We sat there a while, singing together some Heyoka songs. Then I began to sing alone a song I had heard in my first great vision. In a sacred manner they are sending voices. After I had sung this song, I looked down towards the west, and yonder at a certain spot beside the creek were crows and magpies, chicken hawks, and spotted eagles circling around and around. Then I knew, and I said to one side, "Friend, right there is where the herb is growing." He said, "We will go forth and see." So we got on our horses and rode down Grass Creek until we came to a dry gulch, and this we followed up. As we neared the spot, birds all flew away, and it was a place where 4 or 5 dry gulches came together. There, right on the side of the bank, the herb was growing, and I knew it, although I had never seen one like it before except in my vision. It had a root about as long as to my elbow, and this was a little thicker than my thumb. It was flowering with 4 colors, blue, white, red, and yellow. We got off our horses, and after I had offered red willow bark to the 6 powers, I made a prayer to the herb and said to it, "Now we shall go forth to the 2-leggeds, but only to the weakest ones, and there shall be happy days among the weak." It was easy to dig the herb because it was growing in the edge of a clay gulch. Then we started back with it. When we came to the grass creek again, we wrapped it in some good sage that was growing there. Something must have told me to find the herb just then, for the next evening I needed it and could have done nothing without it. I was eating supper when a man by the name of Cuts to Pieces came in, and he was saying, "Hey, hey, hey," for he was in trouble. I asked him what was the matter, and he said, "I have a boy of mine, and he's very sick, and I'm afraid he will die soon. He's been sick a long time. They say you have great power from the horse dance and the Heoka ceremony, so maybe you can save him for me. I think so much of him." I told Cuts to Pieces that if he really wanted help, he should go home and bring me back a pipe with an eagle feather on it. While he was gone, I thought about what I had to do. I was afraid because I'd never cured anybody yet with my power, and I was very sorry for Cuts to Pieces. I prayed hard for help. When Cuts to Pieces came back with the pipe, I told him to take it around to the left of me, leave it there, and pass out again to the right of me. When he had done this, I sent for one side to come and help me. Then I took the pipe and went to where the little sick boy was. My father and my mother went with me, and my friend, Standing Bear, was already there. I first offered the pipe to the 6 powers, then I passed it, and we all smoked. After that, I began making a rumbling thunder sound on the drum. You know, when the power of the rest comes to the 2-leggeds, it comes with rumbling, and when it passes, everything lifts up its head and is glad and is green. So I made this rumbling sound. Also, the sound of the drum is an offering to the spirit of the world. Its sound arouses the mind, makes men feel the mystery and power of things. The sick boy was on the northeast side of the teepee, and when we entered at the south, we went around from left to right, stopping on the west side when we had made the circle. You want to know why we always go from left to right like that? I can tell you something of the reason, but not all. Think of this. Is not the south the source of life? And does not the flowering stick truly come from there? And does not man advance from there toward the setting sun of his life? Then does he not approach the colder north where the white hairs are? And does he not then arrive, if he lives, at the source of light and understanding, which is the east? Then does he not return where he began, to his second childhood, there to give back his life to all life, and his flesh to the earth whence it came? The more you think about this, the more the meaning you will see in it. As I said, we went into the teepee from left to right and sat ourselves down on the west side. The sick little boy was on the northeast side, and he looked as though he were only skin and bones. I had the pipe, the drum, and the 4-rayed herb already, so I asked for the wooden cup full of water and an eagle bone whistle, which was for the spotted eagle of my great vision. They placed the cup of water in front of me. And then I had to think a while because I had never done this before, and I was in doubt. I understood a little more now, so I gave the eagle bone whistle to one side and told him how to use it in helping me. Then I filled the pipe with red willow bark and gave it to the pretty young daughter of Cuts to Pieces, telling her to hold it, just as I had seen the Virgin of the East holding it in my great vision. Everything was ready now, so I made low thunder on the drum, keeping time as I sent forth a voice. 4 times I cried, "Hey, hey," drumming as I cried to the spirit of the world, and while I was doing this, I could feel the power coming through me from my feet up, and I knew I could help the sick little boy. I kept on sending a voice while I made low thunder on the drum, saying, "My grandfather, Great Spirit, you are the only one, and to no other can anyone send voices. You have made everything, they say, and you have made it good and beautiful. The four quarters and the two roads crossing each other you have made. Also you set a power where the sun goes down. The two-leggeds on earth are in despair. For them, my grandfather, I send you a voice. You have said this to me, the weak shall walk. In vision, you have taken me to the center of the world, and there you have shown me the power to make over. The water in the cup that you have given me, by its power shall the dying live. The herb you have shown me, through its power shall the feeble walk upright. From where we are always facing, the south, behold, a virgin shall appear, walking the good red road, offering the pipe as she walks, and hers also is the power of the flowering tree. From where the giant lives, the north, you have given me a sacred cleansing wind, and where this wind passes, the weak shall have strength. You have said this to me. To you and to all your powers and to Mother Earth I send a voice for help. You see, I had never done this before, and I know now that only one power would have been enough. But I was so eager to help the sick little boy that I called on every power there is. I had been facing the west, of course, while sending a low voice. Now I walked to the north, and to the east, and to the south, stopping where the source of all life is, and where the good red road begins. Standing there, I sang thus, in a sacred manner I have made them walk. A sacred nation lies low. In a sacred manner I have made them walk. A sacred two-legged, he lies low. In a sacred manner he shall walk. While I was singing this, I could feel something queer all through my body. Something that made me want to cry for all unhappy beings. And there were tears on my face. Now I walked to the quarter of the west, where I lit the pipe, offered it to the powers, and after I had taken a whiff of smoke, I passed it around. When I looked at the sick little boy, he smiled at me, and I could feel that the power was getting stronger. Next, I took the cup of water, drank a little of it, and went around to where the sick little boy was. Standing before him, I stamped the earth 4 times. Then, putting my mouth to the pit of his stomach, I drew through him the cleansing wind of the north. I next chewed some of the herb and put them in the water, after blowing some of it on the boy in the 4 quarters. The cup with the rest of the water I gave to the Virgin, who gave it to the sick little boy to drink. Then I told the Virgin to help the boy stand up and to walk around the circle with him, beginning at the south, the source of life. He was very poor and weak, but with the Virgin's help, he did this. Then I went away. Next day, Cuts to Pieces came and told me that his little boy was feeling better and was sitting up and could eat something again. In 4 days, he could walk around again. He got well and lived to be 30 years old. Cuts to Pieces gave me a good horse for doing this, but of course, I would have done it for nothing. When the people heard about how the little boy was cured, many came to me for help, and I was busy most of the time. This was the summer of my 19th year, 1882, in the moon of making fat.